Hey, welcome to another video here. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions about, hey, Coach, how are we going to get through the crisis? How are we going to make sure that we do what we have to do to keep afloat? But most importantly, to remain relevant, okay? Now, there are certain things that are not going to change. There are certain things that are fundamentally set to see that you're going to survive or not. The things that have got to change from a leadership point of view are going to have to be your thinking, you're stopping to do what doesn't work anymore, and seeing, hey, what does the market demand right now? Now, for the last 10 years, I have used the same system. Yes, we're going through a crisis, but it's the same system that was used before the last crisis, before things went down, okay? And today, I just thought, you know what? Let me just pull the curtain back and share with you what is the system that Coach has been using for the last 10 years to make lots and millions of dollars for all my clients, okay? There's not one client who went through what I'm about to share with you that did not go on to make, not just create a high-performance culture, but to make a lot of money and create an organization that is consistently getting better. So in this video, I want to share with you what we call the rapid influence system, the system that when implemented will ensure your success, will ensure a high-performance culture, will ensure that you make money. Most importantly, will make sure that your leaders are consistently growing and remaining relevant. Now, this has never been more important than it is right now, okay? Everybody is going through some kind of crisis. Everybody is trying to rethink things. Look, make sure that the fundamentals still remain the same. So, rapid influence system, okay? It is a system that has got 6 steps, okay? 6 steps. However, the 6 steps have got different facets to it, okay? I'm going to give you the bigger picture, and even with just the bigger picture, you can go and begin to do certain things in your business so that you can what? You can not just remain solid. Maybe this is the time for you to say, you know what? I have struggled on culture. I've struggled on leadership development. I've struggled on sales. Now could be a great opportunity to what? Because this corona thing is leveling the ground. This corona thing is also giving us time to think about things. This corona thing is also an opportunity for you to stop doing what doesn't work and go for what works. So, all my 15 years of high-performance coaching for some of the best companies on the planet, here we go. The rapid influence system, even in crisis, it works. Why? It is based on fundamentals, things that are going to work regardless, okay? So every time that I'm going to go into an organization and change things around, the first thing that I'll always think about is how do you create what? Clarity from the top. Okay, why is this important? You'd be surprised how many times you go into an organization, you speak to the leader and they are like, yeah, you know what? I am certain we know what we're doing, we know where we're going. And then you go to the next level and you ask and they're like, you ask 5 people and they all give you different answers. Why? There's lack of clarity at the top in terms of not just clarity, but being able to have passed that clarity on. But also, it is interesting to find 2 leaders, like 2 people at this, there could be a CEO and the next person, and you ask them, hey, what are we working on here? And they don't have the synchronized clarity to say, you know what, this is what we're about. So every time we go, the first place we start is clarity. What do the leaders term as their number 1 goal? Where or who do we say we are? The most important question there is the why, okay? Why are we in business? Why do we even exist? Okay, I will underline that because you need to get that clarity at the beginning of any transformation. You want to re-engineer a business, you got to say, hey, why do we need to even engineer it? Why do we need to even exist? Okay, this is what happens at that first level. This involves, meetings with the leaders. This involves, what we call the dipstick, okay, where you go and you dipstick to find out what's going on. It also involves the mystery visits and things like that, okay? Pardon me. So, what does that mean, okay? When you get clarity, why are we in business? What if we do this? What if we don't succeed? What are our values? You get all that clarity, then you know, okay, this is what this organization is about. This is what they stand for. This is why they exist, okay? Without that why being deep enough, you're going to waste time. When you get the why right from the guys who actually run the show, then you go on to the next stage. What is that? Alignment, okay? What does alignment mean? That means that the entire senior leadership and the next level leadership and the management level, they align to say, hey, we all understand clarity, where we are, who we are, what we stand for, why we're in business, okay? This is where we get the vision, mission, and purpose aligned in terms of why we even exist. This is where we also ask the question, what does winning look like to us, okay? This is such a crucial part of this entire process. Why? Without understanding what winning looks like, then you can't get everybody aligned, because you need everybody to understand this is what success looks to us, okay? And you can't do this by just the leadership team. No, you do this by going out to the people and say, hey, we have clarity of who we are and why we exist. How do you suggest we're going to execute that, okay? You get the winning, what winning looks like, and then you enrich that picture by putting, okay, what does it look like from the way they will talk about us outside? What does it look like from, 10, 15 years from here? Enriching the picture means you're getting people to think and put emotion into the whole thing. Then the leadership team and the next leadership team, the next level in terms of management, all these people get into a room and they work out and they align and say, yes, we understand the big picture. Yes, we understand why we need to execute. They have not discussed how yet. This is crucial. You don't do the how yet because you need everybody to be able to participate. And this is where things go, this is where people get it wrong. You come up with a vision, mission, whatever you need to do, and then you also decide at the top level on how you're going to do it. That is where it goes wrong, okay? You need everybody's input from the bottom, from the side, everywhere to enrich how we're going to do it. It does two things. Number one, buy-in, okay? Number two, it's a much richer picture. Number three, okay, not two things. The third one is that where people create, they support. What people support gets done, all right? That brings me to number 3 here, all right? Forgot to put that, okay? Number 3, that's the immersion. This is where the new culture change begins. This is where we're getting everybody on board, okay? I like the saying, all aboard, all aboard, all aboard. This is where you are selling what you got from there and what you got from there to everybody. This is where the culture and performance champions are created. Why? Everybody is aligned and they know what we need to do. Now we need to sell them the new culture. Now we need to also get them to what? To input in what a new culture would look like to be able to produce what was done there. Okay? I hope we're together. After the immersion is where, by the way, here is where you're beginning to get everybody to input, okay, into how are we going to execute? How are we going to do this? If you've decided that you're going to be not just the best, but you're going to have the best product, how are we going to do it? If you've decided, we are going to be the preferred supplier, how do we do it? If you've decided that, we don't want to be the biggest, we just want to be the most effective, how are we going to be that? All right? When we finish that level, that stage, this is where now you're getting, some kind of excitement into the organization. Things are beginning to work. You have got some working groups, okay? And this is the most important part. These people, because I'll tell you, last 2-3 times we've done a culture change, 2 of them have been amazing, 1 did not work out. Why? We thought everybody should be on board. No. You have got to only get people who have really bought in, okay? And that is usually between 18 to 20% of the entire group, which brings me to the fourth part here. After we have agreed how we're going to do it, then we begin to standardize our performance. This is now where, things begin to get really tough. But most importantly, this is where they say the rubber hits the what? The road. Everyday progress. Standardize. It is, I usually tell the example of when you're beginning to go up to where you need to go in terms of your progress, okay? Every time you make progress, you put a standard and say, we'll never go back to whatever step it was. You move ahead, you put a standard. That means that on a daily basis, we're asking ourselves, what does progress look like? Did we make some progress? Yes. What was the process of making the progress? This was it. Then what do? You put a standard and say, we'll never go back there, okay? This is where you have the passionate few, 16 to 18 to 20% mainly, where people are like, you know what? We're beginning to get standards. We're beginning to say, this is where we are. This is where we're never going to. Now, the important part here is that between these two, the people who are the most active are usually voluntary. Okay? Why? You want people who are passionate about the clarity. Passionate. After we standardize, then you say, okay, now on the inside we're good. We've gotten our culture beginning to form. We've gotten our standards. We're beginning to get some traction. Then guess what? We take the focus to the outside. Now, whilst we're going through this process, doesn't mean that nothing is happening on the outside. You will notice that when you get things done properly on the inside, the effects are felt on the outside. The service gets better. The product gets better. Innovation gets better. Our suppliers begin to see us as somebody who is different. However, there has got to be a deliberate effort to what we call the external accelerator. How do we now take what is going on inside and begin to share it outside? In terms of our stakeholders, in terms of our sales, our suppliers, our demand and excellence. I would like to single out that particular word, sales, right there. The reason it is important when it comes to the accelerator outside is this. If we know why we exist and we are beginning to create the progress that we need, what happens is that on the sales side of things, inevitably we'll be asking, we are pretty good on the inside, how do we accelerate that? How do we begin to get the sales going big time? This is where the sales development becomes crucial. But remember, sales is about what? Getting our product out there. That is why we put it under the external accelerators, okay? Then, of course, our suppliers, and this is where we also begin to demand excellence from everybody else. If you've noticed, some amazing companies will only work with amazing suppliers. But you'll also notice that this is a great example for me is when I worked with Total Uganda, there's a certain particular leader, Imran Barry. And Imran has since left, okay? But he created a situation where all the suppliers stepped up their game. Why? The culture on the inside had changed. Things had gone to the next level. The standard had risen. So inevitably, on the outside, they had to demand what? Excellence from everybody. Okay? That means that if you want to supply and work with us, there's got to be a certain level of excellence. How you do what you do. How you protect yourself. Do you look after your people? Are you delivering on time? Do you over-deliver? All that stuff is about the external accelerator. And then finally, after all this is beginning to tick nicely, you come to what? The leadership, coaching, and mentoring. Okay? This is where you're like, okay, the guys who are going to run this consistently are the leaders. Now, if you don't say, okay, how are we going to bring about leadership, coaching, mentoring, and development, okay? This is where a very interesting, from here and here, there's a very interesting concept that we introduce here. It's called CANDI, and this I got from Tony Robbins, okay? This stands for constant and never-ending daily improvement. This is where the leadership team is being challenged consistently. How do we have daily improvements, okay, that are never ending, okay, constant and never ending daily improvement, okay? How do you consistently get these guys? That is where you put them into a leadership, mentoring, and coaching. But this is not just any other leadership and mentoring. No, it is time where you're pushing people, where you're challenging them, where people are stepping up. And the amazing thing is that when this one starts, this begins to get better inevitably, all right? As you're going through the process. But when this one kicks in, then this is like, it's like you're pouring fuel on a fire. It just goes to the next level, okay? Now, that is the process, okay? First, you get a lot of clarity. You align people. You immerse everybody. You standardize. You go out of the company and do what you have to do. Then ultimately, you get the leaders to do what they have to do in terms of leadership development. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is all supported by, number one, you must have passionate, responsible taking leaders. And some of the things to ensure that that happens is, number one, it is supported by what? By an amazing online community, okay? Online where leaders are talking to leaders who are, it's not just leaders who are just, coming to talk about, oh, how you're doing. No, it is leaders who have the audacity to defy the odds. It is leaders who are looking to say, hey, how do I do something bigger, better? Now, if great leaders are talking to each other, that kind of support you can't get anywhere else, all right? Next, you are also supported by what we call, this is a Color Pro. Color Pro is a performance management system. This is where everything that is done is at your fingertips, okay? You can know every Friday how everybody is doing from having standardized things. This is where every Friday you get on your phone. It doesn't matter where you are. You're in Australia on the beach, On Friday, you get your A4 report to say, this is what we did in sales, this is what we did on culture, these are the kind of challenges we did, and you can also show which one of the people who report to you were performing and those who were not, okay? This is an amazing, amazing addition to the whole entire process. And then, of course, with the continuing development of the organization, there's what we call the online weekly live call with the coach. All right, a live call happens once every week for 6 months, okay? And that is what? To answer questions, to inspire, to challenge, to help people where they are being challenged here and where there are some answers that might not be, some questions that might not have been answered. This one is gold, if you ask me. Now, sometimes it's not just the coach, sometimes it's another leader, sometimes it's somebody bringing something else, sometimes it is, somebody coming to speak about health and wellness, whatever it is all designed to support the rapid influence system. Now, under the entire rapid influence system, there is what we call the 5 business drivers, okay? Yeah, some people may say, yeah, but coach, what else? Hey, there are 5 business drivers that help to come up with this, okay? What are those? Number 1, focus on your people and culture, all right? Now, especially in this time of the world where people are going to be working remotely, engagement is going to be crucial, okay? So that is one of the things that are underlined there. Number 2, financial analysis and capital management. If you create all this, you're making money, but you're not managing it well, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose all of it, okay? Number 3, innovation. All this process has got to have some innovation going on. Why? It is the world we live in now, okay? If there are products that are not working, now is the time to what? Get rid of them. If there's anything that is not working or that could be made better, now is the time, okay? And then number 4, what is your customer strategy? What are you doing specifically to focus on providing? This customer strategy is about something called value. What are you doing to be the person, company, organization that's providing more value than anybody else? Why? That is the only time you're going to remain relevant. And then, of course, optimized operations. How are you operating? Are your operations optimized? Are you getting the best of the best? Are your systems working better than anybody else's? Okay? Because if they're not, then obviously something will be missing in the entire picture. So, now that you know this is what it takes to create a high-performance culture in a company that is not just progressive, but a company that makes money and has an impact on the industry naturally. So, there you go. That is the $1 million system. And of course, we can help you if you want. You just have to, I think there's a link down here. You can make a call. You can come in and then we can, because this cannot work for everybody, okay? Not all organizations can afford to do this. Why? Some of them don't have great leaders. Some of them don't have a big why. Some of them have leaders who are not flexible and strong enough to be able to say, you know what, now is the time to change. But if you're a leader who says, you know what, it is time for me to go to the next level and do something totally different, then of course the rapid influence system is going to be the perfect thing for you right now. So give us a call so that we can see. It is, a 20-minute strategy conversation to see if you qualify. Why? It is not for everybody, all right? It's not for everybody. It is for only those leaders who really want to make a difference. Now, this is why this is very important, especially in this time. Right now, it's time for you as a leader to do what? To step up. Yes, there's fear. Yes, there's anxiety. But you're going to be judged, okay? 2-3 years from today, your ability to lead is going to be judged on how you got everybody out of the crisis. And what better way than to create a new culture of high performance? So, click down below. Let us have a conversation. In the meantime, you can go and look at the entire process and see how you can put it in your organization and see, hey, maybe you might just create a wonderful culture that continuously serves everybody. So, until next time, I want you to live strong and know you have the audacity to live life on your terms. Bye-bye.